I'm here today with Rick Stauder and Daniel Messplay of the Planning and Development Department. Rick is the planning manager for the city and Daniel is a senior planner. Welcome, gentlemen, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I understand that recently you became AICP certified. Can you tell me a little bit about what that is?
Sure. AICP actually stands for the American Institute of Certified Planners. What that organization is the professional planning, certification, and continuing education arm of the American Planning Association.
That is quite a mouthful.
And in order to be eligible for AICP certification, you first have to kind of go through a rigorous application process where you need to demonstrate a certain level of education and experience. Once you are accepted to take the exam and you pass the exam and you pay your membership dues, at that point you officially become AICP certified.
I see, so that's the process. Well, what does it mean to be a certified planner?
Well, certified planners are held to a higher professional and ethical standard. We adhere to a very strict code of ethics, strict professional conduct code. All of this contributes to basically a higher level of quality of work that we produce in the city. It also indicates our commitment to our overarching obligation, which is to serve the public interest.
Yes, which, bottom line, that's what we all do.
Correct.
But what does this certification mean to the average citizen of Hot Springs?
Well, being certified and going through the training and the study process that we went through, which was very comprehensive, I'll tell you, you learn nationwide theories and zoning practices that help us on a day-to-day basis evaluate citizen needs, help them get to where they need to be in a more efficient manner, get them in front of the right board or commission, for example, just depending on what their particular project or need is. But it helps us serve the citizens of this great city.
It's tough to quantify because in preparing for the exam and adhering to the level of professional conduct, you know, something like serving the public interest is kind of out there and nebulous, but it's not necessarily, you know, a concrete path to take. What we've learned, I think, in preparing for the exam and taking the exam is that, you know, there's not always a single path to compliance for the customer. Before, we'd kind of have the instinct almost to say, you know, here are the rules of the city, we have to follow them, and then the conversation would kind of stop there, and that's unproductive. You know, we understand now much better what the code and what a lot of the regulations of the city are trying to accomplish. And because of that, we can not only better explain to the customer what we're trying to accomplish, but we can also maybe find a different way of bringing them into compliance.
So if someone drops by your office and is seeking a permit, your certification, and this bigger picture that you now have assumed, that's going to help you serve that citizen better?
Absolutely.
I think so, and I think just on a base level, having something like a continuing education requirement will make sure that we're kind of on top of our game as planners, and that we stay on top of, you know, the latest Supreme Court rulings, you know, contemporary issues and trends in planning. And these all help us not only better help the customer, but also think critically about our own system of regulations in the city and think, you know, is there something that we're not addressing in our system of regulations that we should be? Or, you know, is there something more that we could be doing to help empower the public and help community change and things like that?
Because the regulations are indeed very complicated and ever-changing.
They can be.
They can be. I mean, there's, and it's not just the zoning code that's, you know, complicated in and of itself. It's that a lot of times with especially more complex projects, people have to interact with many different codes: building codes, fire codes, subdivision codes, sign codes. And so when we look critically and we are trying to think of ways to streamline the process of making our code more accessible and clear and easy to understand and approachable from, you know, an everyday citizen point of view, it's really helpful to kind of step outside of ourselves and step outside of the box and start to understand where we need to be going.
So you're already seeing changes in the planning and development department as a result of this new way of thinking, this new approach?
Yeah, I believe that's absolutely fair to say, yes.
I would agree, and I think moving forward, that will only become more evident.
Well, thanks for explaining to us today a bit about this AICP certification, what it means to the department, but most of all, what it means to citizens. This critical type thinking that allows you to ultimately better serve the customer. Perhaps give them options, certainly empower them to make decisions that benefit their homes, their businesses going forward.
I think for
their community.
Yes, I think for us that's the end goal. You know, in the code of ethics for AICP planners, the very first code is, above all, you serve the public interest. That is your primary obligation, and that's what we are striving for, and that's what we hope to accomplish.
And on that note, I think that says it all. Obviously, all of us at the City of Hot Springs want to advance the public interest, want to serve the public interest, and ongoing training and certification is something that is vitally important to all of our departments, some of them even more so in being able to provide as wide a range of services as possible to the public. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today and explaining about the certification, gentlemen. We look forward to the changes that are going to be taking place as you better serve the public.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Right. The City of Hot Springs is always changing and evolving to better serve you. We look forward to seeing you next week with more city news.